Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to fully finish off these DreamWorks movies to give my thoughts on the last two Shrek movies, Shrek Forever After and the Puss in Boots spinoff movie. So, yeah, so I'll just start off with Shrek Forever After. So, like I have said before, first two movies really are great, and the third one I really didn't like very much, really wasn't a fan of it. So, how does this film act as another sequel? Well, I do think that it is better than the third movie, but once again, it still really doesn't compare to the first two at all. I mean, yeah, I did enjoy this movie more than the third one. I'd say, yeah. I mean, it did have a decent story overall. But this film really seems to really be lacking the comedy for it. This one seems to really just be telling the story really straight up, kind of like the first movie did. But yeah, the first movie had a lot more humor to it than this film did. And yeah, I guess the story for this one, it was decent, I'd say. Yeah, it's basically like a story that we've seen before a bunch of times in TV shows and film, where it's as if the character has never been born, and that's really the story of this film, is that Shrek is like brought into a world where he's basically doesn't exist. I mean, yeah, there's been two versions of the story that have been used in film before. Yeah, one is the story that this film has, where Shrek is still he is like he is still part of the world. It's not nobody really sees him, and he's basically just thin air to everybody in the world. He's still an actual human that is part of the world. Well, not a human, but yeah, a, a creature that is still part of the world. People still do see him and stuff. Shrek is still an ogre, and he's still part of the world. But yeah, of course, he's not remembered by anybody. And the other version of the story is just where the character is just basically not actually there in the world, and nobody can actually see or hear them. Both versions of the story have been used before, but yeah, this one goes with the one where Shrek is still actually a part of the world, but he's just not remembered. And I did think that this was a decent film and with a decent story. I mean, but yeah, as I said before, it doesn't really hold a candle to the first two films. I mean, yeah, you still have the recurring actors: Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and Antonio Banderas, and Julie Andrews and John Cleese also return, but their roles in this film are very, very brief. And yeah, in this film, the villain is Rumpelstiltskin, who's voiced by Walter Dorn. And yeah, they're all still they still do good, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll just go very briefly or right through the premise of this film. So as this film begins, it has a story that actually does kind of tie in with the first film a little bit, where like Fiona's parents are just going up to Rumpelstiltskin and just trying to ask him to free Fiona, and Rumpelstiltskin does agree if they will actually sign over Far Far Away to him, but then they get word that Fiona has been rescued, which was of course by Shrek, and then yeah, Rumpelstiltskin then was just really, really yeah, he was just not happy, and he just was really wishing Shrek wouldn't have been born. And then yeah, in this film, it's shown that as it starts off, Shrek and Fiona now have their three kids, and yeah, Shrek is now adapting to his new life as basically a father and a family man, and it's just showing that over time Shrek just really is really getting really tired of the new life that he now has, and as they're having a birthday party for one of their kids, then after there's just a bunch of stuff going on, and it's really aggravating Shrek. People are just giving him a hard time, and Shrek is just really tired of being the family man and a famous character and stuff. If it just finally leads him to just finally snapping, and he just ends up losing his temper, and he just ends up really crashing the birthday party and just walking out on it. And then like he just ended up telling Fiona that really he just wants to go back to his life basically before he rescued Fiona from the dragon. And yeah, I watched Nostalgia Critic DreamWorks review for this movie, and he feels that when Shrek did that, it just felt like kind of mean spirited, really, and it just really was like a real unacceptable thing, or something that really just went too far for him. And he just felt that this was one of the things that really did kind of bring the movie down. And yeah, I guess I can understand because I mean, something saying something like that is really like, ugh. I mean, yeah, it's really something that I don't think people really should say about it. Something like that. So yeah, I guess like I can understand why he feels the way he does about it because yeah, pretty twisted thing to say. And eventually Shrek ends up like finding Rumpelstiltskin, and after like Rumpelstiltskin like saw everything that Shrek had did, and yeah, he was like just talking with Shrek, and like he was after like Shrek ended up like appearing to save Rumpelstiltskin's life. He then was like talking to Shrek, and then he like was basically like coming up with a compromise with Shrek that he'd give Shrek a day to really live as an actual like quote unquote real ogre again, and in exchange for a day of his life. And then like he just told Shrek that it would be just a day that really wasn't very big for him, and so yeah, they agreed to like just make it a day from Shrek's childhood. That would be erased. And then, yeah, Shrek ended up like signing the contract. And then when basically, then after that, then like Shrek just ended up like being transported to an alternate reality, which was basically like as if the like basically everything with him rescuing Fiona and everything really just never happened. And yeah, Shrek then was just like once again a real feared ogre by everyone. And yeah, then like Shrek eventually like saw then that there were like some wanted posters out for Fiona, and he saw basically his home just ended up being deserted, and eventually like it showed that then like witches ended up kidnapping Shrek and bring him to Rumpelstiltskin, and then yeah, Rumpelstiltskin then like revealed to Shrek that the day he took away was the day Shrek was born, so basically like he doesn't exist anymore, and like just yeah his life like his family never happened, like his kids don't exist since he never met Fiona, and yeah, it showed that Donkey didn't remember Shrek, and eventually like yeah, Rumpelstiltskin was telling him that he now is the king of Far Far Away because like that thing that happened at the beginning of the film actually did like fully happen, and Rumpelstiltskin did become the king of Far Far Away, and then he just made Fiona's parents disappear. So yeah, this basically just completely changed the course of history, and yeah, Rumpelstiltskin now basically took over Far Far Away. And then yeah, Rumpelstiltskin told Shrek that once the day ends, Shrek will actually disappear too. But then yeah, Shrek eventually escaped Rumpelstiltskin's castle along with Donkey, and yeah, at first like Shrek like was trying to really talk to Donkey to get him to remember Shrek and stuff, or to try to calm Donkey down, but Donkey was just like really scared of Shrek and ended up running off. But then as Shrek started to tear up because of like the history being erased, Donkey then like decided and then trusts Shrek because he never actually seen an ogre cry before. Yeah. Yeah. And eventually Donkey like just told Shrek that there would be like a hidden exit clause in the contract that and the contract would actually be nullified by true love's kiss, and so then Shrek just knew that he actually had to kiss Fiona to get the contract nullified and things would go back to normal. And it eventually showed then like Fiona was now like still in her curse, and she was now leading this army of ogres who are like resisting Rumpelstiltskin and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, Shrek was like trying to like really like explain this stuff to Fiona, but Fiona just felt that Shrek was just really basically crazy. Hazy, and yeah, Fiona is just like trying to prepare an ambush on Rumpelstiltskin, and it's eventually shown that like Puss is now a pet of Fiona, and Puss is just like really fat and overweight, and he just like really gave up the Puss in Boots identity. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and over time, like Fiona was starting to like Shrek after like they were sparring with each other and stuff, and then eventually, like the ogres ended up like being captured by the Pied Piper. Yeah. And then, yeah, Shrek and Fiona eventually ended up escaping with the help of Puss and Donkey. And then, like, Shrek then was just telling Fiona to kiss him, and that it'll fix everything. And then, like, Fiona did kiss Shrek, but nothing happened because this was in a different time, like in a different type of world. Like, Fiona was not in love with Shrek, so nothing happened. And yeah, and Shrek eventually found out that Rumpelstiltskin was like making an offer for a wish to anyone to bring Rumpelstiltskin Shrek, and then Shrek then decided to turn himself in, and for the wish, but instead of actually wishing just everything would go back to normal, all before then, Shrek instead just ended up like freeing the other ogres, and then yeah, then like there was a battle that ensued between like all the ogres and like Rumpelstiltskin's army and stuff. And yeah, it then like showed Puss then like taking back the Puss in Boots identity and doing battle and stuff, yeah. And then like both Shrek and Fiona were being like held captive because yeah, Fiona wasn't like fully an ogre in this world yet, yeah. Yeah, but then yeah, eventually like the ogre army ended up winning, and then yeah, then as the sun was then rising, like it was then like showing Shrek was then like fading from existence. But before Shrek like fully disappeared, then it showed then Fiona had like fully fallen in love with him, and then she kissed Shrek. Then yeah, Shrek ended up like disappearing, but then like everything just ended up like just fading away, and then yeah, it then like returned Shrek back to like the normal world, and it was like back to the moment like when he right before he snapped at the birthday party. Yeah, and then yeah, Shrek then just ended up like embracing everybody and just like now the appreciation for like his family and Fiona and all of his friends. Yeah, and yeah, it just ended with like them celebrating some more, like celebrating the kid's birthday and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, as the movie then cut to credits, it was like showing like just clips of all the other Shrek movies. So yeah, it was really like trying to tell us that this really was going to be the last Shrek movie. So yeah, I guess that was a good way to bookend it by showing all of those clips of the film previous films before. So yeah, overall, like I did like think that Shrek's final Shrek Forever After, was a step up from the third movie, but yeah, still like you're like if you watch it, you'll probably like still like kind of be underwhelmed with it, and you'll still probably still end up sticking to the first two films. So yeah, I guess like if you want like I guess like if you watch it, you won't be like really like absolutely hating it and really just this feeling it's really like just not a good film like with the third film, but yeah, you'll probably still feel kind of like let down, especially like if you compare it to the first two. So yeah, so yeah, it is what it is. Like not good, not bad, but yeah, just like a film like right in the middle, really. And for the Puss in Boots film, I'm probably just going to skim right through this very fast because I really don't have too much to say about this because personally I felt that this film really was not really necessary to do. I mean, yeah, Puss in Boots I guess just had like a really cold following. Like a lot of people really did seem to love Puss in Boots, so I guess they just decided to give Puss in Boots his own spin-off film. And you know, overall like people really did like overall they liked this film. So I guess it's really not like a total like stupid thing to do, but I just felt that this really wasn't very necessary to do. Yeah, this is basically about like Puss in Boots' life before we actually did see him for the first time in Shrek 2. Who, yeah, basically like in this film, like Puss in Boots really is just like a fugitive, like running from the law, which was basically like would explain like why he really was the assassin he was when we first saw him in Shrek 2. who, and yeah, basically like it just like is showing like the life of Puss like before we saw him in Shrek 2, basically like as he was the assassin he was. Yeah. And in this film, like it still like take place in the same world as Shrek. Like we do have like some other fairy tale characters that we didn't see before in Shrek films. Like it has like Humpty Dumpty and Jack and Jill and a few other characters like that. Jack and the Beanstalk, like Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. So yeah, we do have like some new fairy tale characters in this. Yeah, and basically like this film, like I said before, it's basically just about Puss's life as he was an assassin, like just running from the law and stuff. And like he's like trying to get the magic beans from Jack and Jill, and yeah, like these will of course like grow the beanstalk from that lead to the giant's castle, and then yeah, Puss is like after like the golden goose eggs and the giant's castle and stuff. And yeah, Puss ends up like meeting this like female cat, a kitty, Soft Paws, who's like a tuxedo cat who is like eventually like Puss ends up falling in love with her and stuff. And then yeah, basically like they eventually end up like stealing those beans from Jack and Jill, and then they eventually end up planting the beans, and it then like grows the beanstalk, and then like they of course like you know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. They then like lead to like huge clouds in the sky, which like are a castle and stuff, and and uh yeah, they like then like end up like hijacking this like giant goose to help them like carry the golden eggs because the golden eggs are just like really so heavy and stuff. And then uh yeah, basically yeah, that's just really what this yeah, this film just is like continuing with Puss's adventure. Like Puss like shows that Puss like has an adoptive mother, Imelda, Hulda and stuff, and then like Puss eventually like ends up like turning himself in or something, and, and after this plot was like turned out being a heist. Well, yeah, this heist ended up like being a plot by Humpty Dumpty and stuff. You know, well, for Puss to be arrested, and then yeah, Puss ended up turning himself, and then yeah, Humpty Dumpty was like donating like those golden eggs to the town, and he was like looked at as a hero. And as Puss was in prison, he then like met Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, and stuff, and then you know, yes, yeah, like it turns out like there's this thing known as the Great Terror, and turned out like the Great Terror was the goose's mother, and yeah, the Great Terror actually like will stop at nothing to get the her child back and stuff. And yeah, then like yeah, Humpty Dumpty was just like trying to really destroy the entire town like all along, and then yeah, eventually like Kitty Softpaws helped Puss break out of prison, and yeah, she then like confessed the love for Puss and stuff, and then eventually then like Puss and Humpty Dumpty eventually like teamed up to fight off the Great Terror, and yeah, because Puss knew that Humpty Dumpty really was a good person at heart. Alright, and then yeah, Puss and Humpty Dumpty didn't just like work together to lure the Great Terror out of the town, and they like were using the goose as bait to do that. Yeah. Yeah, and then like Jack and Jill were like working for Humpty Dumpty, and they ended up like betraying him, and they tried to take the goose, but yeah, the Great Terror ended up crushing them and stuff. Yeah, and and then yeah, as like Humpty Dumpty and the goose were like knocked off of a bridge, Puss was like holding onto him, and then Humpty Dumpty ended up like sacrificing himself because like Puss couldn't like hold the both of them, and so he ended up like sacrificing himself. health. And then, yeah, once Humpty Dumpty's shell ended up like cracking open, it showed that he was actually a golden egg on the inside too. Oh yeah. And then, yeah, the goose and Humpty Dumpty were then taken back to the giant's castle by the Great Terror. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, Puss was then like looked at by San Ricardo as a hero among like everyone in the town, along with his mother. Yeah, 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 and yeah, it's basically just yeah, that's really what this film is really about. Really, just like Puss like going after those gold eggs and stuff, and yeah, basically yeah, it's just really about his life before Shrek 2. So yeah, it is what it is. Really, I mean, it's really nothing too necessary, but I guess it is enjoyable enough. So yeah, I guess you can watch this and you'll get some enjoyment out of it. But yeah, and so yeah, those are really like the thoughts on this. So yeah, I guess like Puss in Boots is really like it is worth a watch if you want to. But yeah, and I guess you can watch Shrek Forever After, and I guess it'll be like an alright film. But yeah, just don't be expecting too much. Like especially if you, for those of you that really were fans of the first two films, yeah, you're not really gonna get much out of Shrek Forever After. But yeah, it will like if you want a redeemer after Shrek the Third, yeah, you'll like get a film that really is a step up from that, but just not by that much. So yeah, if you've never seen them before, yeah, just check them out, and you can really just draw your own conclusions to them, and just yeah, you can just yeah see what you think about them. So yeah, and it seemed that these really would like be the last thing Shrek related, but yeah, earlier like this year, I think it was just like just for like last year or something that another Shrek film is actually like confirmed and it's in the works right now, and it's up for release in like 2019 or 2020, honey. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly when it'll be released, but yeah, I mean, I really just I feel the same way about this as I did with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I mean, they're making another sequel to Shrek. I mean, especially like Shrek Forever After. I mean, this one was released in 2010, and yeah, it's basically like 10 years later at least. Probably they're doing another one. Like they're really waiting this long to do it. So yeah, I just really felt that this really is not necessary to do at all. But yeah, we'll see what will happen with it. And there's also like something said for like I think like they're thinking of like really extending the Puss in Boots film series also. Like I've heard that like there is like kind of like a sequel in the works for this. It's like this was like announced like about a few years ago, and this is like scheduled to be released like next November. So or well, yeah, that's how it was originally scheduled. But then, like, it was then eventually like moved to December 21st, 2018. So yeah, I guess that's the release date set for it right now. I mean, that could change later on. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I guess like it. I guess since the Puss in Boots film like did overall success, did good overall. I guess like they just decided to make a sequel to this and see what they can do with it, the Puss in Boots franchise. So yeah, we'll just have to see where it goes. So yeah, I guess yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see how it'll pan out. So yeah, overall like second, I mean, so yeah, fourth Shrek film, Forever After. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't really know whether or not to recommend it. I mean, yeah, yeah, like Nostalgia Critic said, I mean, if you just want to finish off this film, you can like go ahead and watch it, but just don't be like expecting like a whole much like the first two films really gave us. And yeah, the Puss in Boots film I guess will be enjoyable enough. So yeah, so yeah, you can just see what you think about them. All right, so yeah, that's what I have to say. So those are my thoughts on Shrek for after. I can't talk. Those are my thoughts on Shrek Forever After and Puss in Boots. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about these two films, and I hope you guys did enjoy these DreamWorks videos I did throughout the month that I have done. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy these DreamWorks videos that I did. So yeah, thanks for watching these DreamWorks videos, and so yeah, stay tuned as I got some more stuff coming up next throughout the month of December. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.